Zelda. I'm going to talk to you on today's Share My Gold. I'm going to talk to you about the first time I ever took a flight by myself. It was quite a significant event. So this is what happened. At the time, I think my daughter had been left a year, maybe 2 years before, no, one. She'd left the year before to travel in Australia. Now my daughter is so I don't know. She's a bit of an introvert. She's very quiet, a bit shy, and the rest of it. And I was really shocked when she decided that she was going to go travel to Australia of all places. We don't do things like that where we come from. So it was awesome, and she saved up for herself. So I was so proud, and she decided to come over. So anyway, she'd had a 7-year relationship with this guy, and it wasn't going anywhere. And she just knew in her heart that they were great as friends, but there was no future, and he didn't want to travel, and he decided he didn't want to wait for her for the year that she planned. So they agreed to break up. And as emotional as that was for them both, it was very, very true to her heart what she needed to do. So anyway, so this happened. So she came over. Now she travelled over with someone who then partner was working with, and he was travelling over with the son to come and meet a previous son that he had living over here with his ex-wife, and he'd said they could travel together, travel to the country and spend maybe a couple of weeks with them or a month till she gets her bearings and arranges all the travel time. So however, this month in this month, or should I say within 3 months, she was then married and pregnant to someone who was a friend of his Australian son. And we was all kind of like taken aback, like, what? How does this work? Oh, he's gorgeous. He's a gorgeous guy. And she just knew. She's just one of these who she doesn't want for much. But she just knew. She just, yeah, as soon as she met him, and they planned it. They planned to get pregnant. They planned to get married, and obviously I was still in England at the time, so they had a very, very remote wedding. We did it on Skype, so I did get to be part of it while I was at work in the office at the time. So it was quite fascinating. So anyway. So she's pregnant and she tells me she wants me at the birth. I thought, what? Why would you want that? I didn't particularly enjoy being at the birth of her or her two brothers, never mind about wanting to be on the other end of someone else having a child. And I didn't know how I felt about that. Well, I did. I was petrified, to be honest. I was like, oh, this is not going to end well. So I thought about. I mean, to her, I didn't hesitate. I was like, "Oh wow, yeah, okay, I could do this." But I was freaking out, damn freaking out inside. Like, oh, I don't like gory stuff. This isn't going to go very well. But obviously, I didn't want to frighten her too much. But being my daughter that she is, she researched and watched One Born Every Minute all the way through pregnancy, so she'd seen it at its best and its worst. So she was mentally prepared for what was to come. Unlike me, I didn't want it. I just take it as it comes. So anyway, so I became excited, and the girls in the office were all sort of like rooting for me, and I planned it the year before, because obviously it costs a lot of money, and in England you don't really particularly earn a lot whatever your role is. Not where I live anyway. I'm sure in some areas there are higher paid roles, but not in the northeast of Lincolnshire there isn't. So anyway, booked it, planned it. Had to wait till nearly the day before leaving to get the extra time consent from work, which is another story in itself. So although I was going, I still was kept holding on and holding on and holding on. And this is working for a company that provided services for vulnerable adults. So as much as we were caring for everybody else, the staff kind of always took us a back burner. I was one of them. And anyway, so they booked this party. This party was amazing. They'd gone all out. They'd put all the Australian flags all around the office, on the inside and out. We had inflatable kangaroos. We had the hats with corks on. There was all this Australian lingo, Sheila, Bruce, and all. You know, chuck one on the Barbie, and all the rest of it was just like everywhere. And there's lots of other stuff who. Well, I know the words now. Obviously, I live here. But back then, I was like, does that even mean something? So anyway, very, very good. And also, actually, about 4 months prior to me leaving, I met someone. I was in love, you know. I actually was in love, or actually, not the best word to use for it, especially when I look back, it's hard to imagine that it was actually love. Anyway, so I'm still going, obviously. I'm not gonna sort of like, because one time a day I would have stopped my plans and changed my plans for whoever I would have been involved with. I did a lot of that in my life, and I obviously, this was very important to me. My daughter wanted me, she needed me at birth, and I wanted to greet this grandchild into the world, and I planned it and saved, you know, this was a huge, huge thing for me. However, flying, I was going to fly by myself, and I was like, part of me really did not want to do this. For one, I really do not like flying. For two, I was going to countries I've never even heard of. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've flown quite a few times before this, but the longest flight I think was like 4.5 hours. Now this was equating, this journey to Australia was going to equate to like 24, 25 hours in the air. Just, you know, getting anxious just the thought of being on this plane for that long. I really loving that one. But I knew I wanted to be where I wanted to be. So, you know, like anything in life, you have to get out your comfort zone. You have to do some of the things you're not comfortable with, some of the things that you really do not like doing to get the end product. A bit like this business, really. In fact, it's a lot like this business, really. I might use that, actually. I quite like that. I think I may. Don't be stealing it. I'll know. Yeah, so anyway, my at the time partner dropped me off at the airport. Was making it really, really difficult for me to leave, but I knew where I wanted to go, so I was going. Gets on the flight. Oh, sorry, no, we did not get on the flight, because when I went to check in and put my case in, didn't have a visa. I didn't know you needed a visa. So I had to get a visitor's visa to get into the country. Who knew? Probably everyone but me. So Etihad, who I flew with, were extremely helpful, and they sorted it out for me just like that. So gets on this plane, and I believe this is the one where I got. Oh yeah, we go to Abu Dhabi, okay, which is in Dubai, and I was seated. Remember, I don't like flying, okay. I was seated next to an Asian guy who was petrified of flying. He just didn't like it. He was petrified. Well, that did not help me. Oh, one bit. I was inside like screaming like, please shut up. I don't want to know. And he was like gasping at everything, and he was like clinging on to stuff, and I was like, so I gets my headphones on, and Listening to music and watching all the movies and doing anything not to have to look at this man's fear and sense it, because being an empath, you feel everything, trust me. So that was like just doubling up my fear. So that wasn't going too well to start off with. So anyway, I managed to survive that flight. And we get to Abu Dhabi. And I mean, I knew it was a really large airport. I'd heard how large it was, and I'd also heard how gorgeous and busy it was. Jeez, I did not expect what I got when I got there. I mean, imagine this woman on her own with the suitcases, because I didn't know about the sending it all the way direct at this stage, okay? So you had to bear with me on this. So yes, I get my suitcase, I'm climbing around, and I already knew I was going to have to kill 5 hours because that's the way the planning worked out. Oh no, we had a 10-hour delay. 10 freaking hours. So I knew I was going to be stuck in this airport on my own for 15 hours. 15 hours of my life stranded. Oh, look. I just pictured it now. I think it's an image that will never leave me. And you probably seen the sheiks that in white clothing, and there was hundreds, just hundreds of them, and they were just laid all on the floor. And I was exploring and stepping over people, and I was like, wow, I just didn't believe that this was a thing, because I just wasn't as cultural as I thought I was, I just had no understanding of what was going on. And I was like going in all the nooks and crannies, and there was people on these um, like electric port stations where they could go on the laptops, and because there's people from all over the world here, obviously, and people where you can charge your phones. And because of my ex being my ex, I had to run around and try and find a particular card so that I could call him, because my phone was obviously no longer able to ring. And seriously, I think most of those 15 hours, apart from like the toilet breaks and the going for walks, I was smoking back in the day, and there was an area which I could go to, which was great because I was just it got me moving. And then there was these like prayer areas and these sleep areas and shower areas, and I was like, wow, we don't get that in England, Yeah, so anyway, so most of the time I was on the phone, and the guy I was with was just constantly, are you all right? Are you all right? Are you all right? And I thought, for God's sake, I'm going on holiday. What's up with you? So anyway, get to go on the next flight. Eventually, very tired, very drained. I'm emotional because I'm on my own. I couldn't contact my daughter to let her know about all these delays, and only because I didn't have a phone number. All I had was the phone number of the guy I was with at the time, so I had no other means. I suppose I could have done if I'd have really worked it all out. Hi, Sally. Hey, gorgeous. Yeah, if I'd have worked it out and had me mind on me at the time, I perhaps could have found a way of maybe contacting him on Messenger or something. But being in this strange place with this ex on the phone to me like all the time must cost me about £1,500, which is like almost $3,000 in English money, just to keep making those calls to keep him happy. So anyway, so that was so it gets on the next plane. We're heading for Melbourne because I had three flights, three stoppage flights on this one, not just two. I had three, but I soon learned that that wasn't a thing. Or it didn't have to be, put it that way. So I get on this flight to Melbourne, and I ended up sitting next to. Oh no, sorry, I ended up talking to an Egyptian man at the gate. And I so wish I'd met him sort of 15 hours earlier, because it just put me at ease. And we got on really well. We was having some really lovely conversations. And like I said, I was a smoker then, so we were like smoking together and everything. And luckily for me, he ended up sat behind me on the plane. So we just kept on chatting, and then I found Jason Derulo on the radio, or it's like a CD that you could just listen to. So that occupied a lot of time, because I think this one was, then the first flight, one of the first flights, I think was 11 hours, and the other one was either 9 or 15. I can't quite remember now how long, just like forever. I'd had no sleep. I was just drained. It's like 2 days of nothing. So we get off at Melbourne, and obviously because of all the delays in Abu Dhabi, we had missed our connecting flight to Brisbane. So it put me up in in the Hilton actually. Although I think I had 2 hours sleep, because this was 1 in the morning. I had to be back for the next flight for 9 in the morning, plus my 2-3 hour phone call that I had to make at that time with the monster, as I call him. So I was just shattered. I was just so exhausted, and I really wanted to be in that bed, but it wasn't meant to be. So panicking still about my daughter, knowing that I'm not going to be at Brisbane yesterday when I should have been. So anyway, gets off the flight, and I'm in Brisbane, and I just, oh God, I just saw my daughter. Bear in mind, 2 years before, she was 23, a skinny little doll, my little girl, and I just, oh, I'm gonna cry now. I remember it. Oh, it was so lovely. And I just see this like heavily pregnant like woman like walking towards me, and I just like threw my bag, and I just sort of like went running over to her, picked her up, and like whizzed around, and then she told me, oh, I was panicking so much because that flight went missing. I was like, what flight? There was a Malaysian airline that had disappeared, and nobody could find it. They didn't know if it crashed, been hijacked, or gone out of space, or what. And this is why I had all the phone calls, all the stopovers in Abu Dhabi, and the delays, and this is why the airport was so crowded, obviously, and everyone was in panic. And I didn't even freaking know, because I was on the phone. I didn't see no TV, and obviously nobody around me was English to tell me what was going on. And I was like, oh, that explains. But I tell you something, all that turmoil was just so worth it in that moment. So it kind of set a stall for a lot of things for me. Like, do you know what? Like I said earlier, you have to go through some rough to get to what you need in the end, to get the gold. To get the gift, to get the gold, to get the trophy, you've got to go through some hurdles. And yeah, okay, it was 2 days of hurdles, but the outcome was far outweighs the hurdles. So I just really just wanted to share that little story with you today, and I think I shall use this, and I think I shall use this one on my own lives as well, because I've written it out, and oh my God, I plan to write no more than 500. So I was writing this out last night, ready, just to write as a post. Oh my God, it's over 1,000 words. I'm like, it's another hurdle I've overcome, I see. So achievements are just happening in so many ways at the moment. It's I'm really blessed. I'm really blessed in a lot of areas. Like this abundance this year has just been freaking amazing. And yeah, that was my first solo flight. And I think I only did 2 more, and then I ended up, 3 more, sorry, but 2 more to here, and I didn't go back. So happy first flight, brought me to a destiny of a brand new life that I'm loving, by the way. So much love to everybody. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you get some joy from my goal. Okay, much love, darlings. Maybe we will end. Maybe you just want to keep me a little longer. because my internet is still not perfect. Okay, we may have this anytime now. Why? Oh, maybe I have